Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's see what there is to talk about from the world of boxing today. We did do a video yesterday, so there might not be that much new news, but there's always something to have a chinwag about this crazy sport we love. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vid. Let's have a quick sip of the amber nectar. I have no idea why I call it that, and then we can get going. Okay. Let's start with this one. Freddie Roach. Keith Thurman is actually better than Errol Spence. Throws more combinations, a little stronger. Let the psychological warfare begin. Look, Freddie Roach clearly knows more than most of us know, right? More than all of us probably. But I don't believe that he actually really believes that. Certainly not stronger. Look, I mean, I don't know. Manny Pacquiao was in there with Keith, so again, he knows more than we do, but I'd be shocked if Keith is stronger than Errol Spence. And even the throws more combinations, maybe, actually. I mean, Errol threw quite a few decent combinations against Danny Garcia, but I do feel like when Keith lets his hands go, he does let them go. Maybe a bit more reckless, but he does let them go. So that's probably a true statement. I do think we sleep on Keith a little bit. I do anyway. I mean, sometimes I do have to remind myself that Keith did beat Danny Garcia when Danny Garcia was at his peak, and did beat Sean when I thought Sean was at his peak as well. Both close fights, but they were at his peak, and he beat them. He beat them. So I do think Keith slept on a little bit. Like when you talk about the great welterweights of the last sort of 10, 15 years, I don't know of many people who have Keith in that. It's true. I don't think they will. You know, it's funny because I've been screaming about Pacquiao and what's Pacquiao done for the last 2 years. Obviously, Pacquiao's last fight was Keith Thurman. What's Keith doing? Keith hasn't fought since Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Keith has been a part-time boxer for the last 6 years. Let me quickly bring up Keith's record again. I'm pretty sure he only had one fight or two fights in 2015 and one fight in 2016. Let's have a quick look. So Keith's had 30 fights, obviously just the one defeat. 30 fights ain't that much, especially when you think your first, I don't know, 16, 17 fights, you're fighting every 2 months, really. You're fighting back to back because they're easy fights. You're blowing people out. And Keith was blowing people out. Keith was knocking everyone out. So he had 2 fights in 2015, 1 fight in 2016, that was Sean Porter, 1 fight in 2017, didn't fight all of 2018. Do you remember he had this elbow issue? Although some people think he just didn't really want to fight anymore. Came back and fought Josito Lopez in 2019, and then Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought since. Hasn't fought. He's been coming up and talking about a few names, but this guy's not fought for 2 years. It's crazy, crazy. I feel like it's a waste with Keith Thurman. He's only 31. Sorry, 31? How old's Keith? 1 second. I could have got that. I might have got that wrong. 32. Apologies. He's 32. So there's still a couple years left in Keith, but I don't know, man. His inactivity is, I don't know, it's difficult to explain. But yeah, I'm not going with what Freddie Roach is saying there. Carl Froch, trilogy delay is only going to hurt Fury more. Wilder hungry to prove a point. It's hurting them both. Let's be honest, it's hurting them both. I mean, one thing it does do is it gives Wilder more time. Not that he's going to be able to, I think, change his boxing ability, but it does give him more time to work with Malik Scott, an extra couple of months. Like Wilder, we know is always in shape. With Fury, I almost feel like for Fury, it's like camps are just to mentally get strong, but to get in some sort of physical shape. We know he's not body beautiful, but it's to get into shape. Boxing ability is there. I mean, that's just, he doesn't have to think about what he's doing. It's just natural to him. Wilder enters camp, it looks like, physically anyway, in shape. It could be a case of Ferrari no engine, right? Where he looks so good on the outside, but on the inside, you know, it's not good, but it doesn't look like he's in shape. So for Wilder, it gives him a couple more months, 3-4 months to work on things. But it's got to the stage now where this has just become embarrassing for both of them. Neither guy has had a fight, because they obviously fought each other last, since February 2020. I mean, we're talking potentially them fighting, potentially now, no date confirmed there, October 2021. The WBC heavyweight champion, the biggest belt in boxing as far as I'm concerned, I'll still give it that title, hasn't been defended since February 2020. And you can talk about the pandemic, because like, I was having this wasn't a back and forth, but I kind of had a disagreement with Gareth A. Davis because Gareth mentioned the fact that it has been a pandemic. And it's true, it has been a pandemic. Everyone else's fault. Everyone else has somehow got in the ring. Like every top boxer you can think of all of them, have fought. Some twice. Some since February 2020, 3 times. What am I going to do? 3 times. It's crazy to think that, again, this is the tip of the iceberg. The WBC heavyweight crown is a tip of the iceberg and hasn't been defended since February 2020. People might say, again, that's unlucky, but Fury was supposed to fight Caballero in December. What happened there? I still don't know. What was that? Was that a money thing? Was that a Caballero thing? Was that a Fury thing? Was that a ticket? What was the issue? Don't know. But it just doesn't look good, man. And it might be just unfortunate circumstances, but the fact is, neither man has fought since February 2020. That's crazy. That honestly is crazy. Again, when everyone else has fought. It's just strange. But look, I guess we wait to see what happens come October. We wait. And I think it's a massive shame as well for F.A. Jagba, who I think got COVID as well, by the way, Frank Sanchez, Helenius, Kalnaki. That was shaping up to be a really, really good boxing card. Do they all then just go to October? We'll see. This fight got announced, I think, well, we kind of knew it was happening, but I think it got officially announced yesterday by DAZN. And that's that Virgil Ortiz will fight Velasquez, which I think is a fantastic fight. It's a really, really good fight. And I like the trajectory that Virgil Ortiz is going. Obviously, it was Maurice Hooker, which was competitive for a few rounds, but then Virgil Ortiz just stepped on the gas and showed he's just too big, too strong. Velasquez, I think, is going to be a step up from that. Is a lot tougher than Maurice Hooker. And look, he caused Crawford some problems. I mean, there is still that, he put Crawford down talk going around. So I like this matchup. I really do. Like, some people were talking about Velasquez as a potential opponent for Conor Benn. And I was like, oh, let's kind of rein that in a bit. Let's hold the reins, because I think Ben's a couple of fights away from that. But it's almost like Ben is on the coattails of whoever Virgil Ortiz fights. So I wouldn't be shocked if Ben, we're moving away from Ortiz, we're going to go back there in a minute. I wouldn't be shocked if Ben fights a Maurice Hooker soon. And then in maybe 3 or 4 fights' time, maybe fights the Velasquez. I'm not overlooking Ortiz, Velasquez, by the way, in terms of, do I think Velasquez can beat Ortiz? Because I do think he can cause him problems. But these are the kind of names that if Conor Benn wants to ascend to world title level, he might have to be fighting a Velasquez in 3 or 4 fights. So all eyes on this one. It's going to be a really good fight. I expect Ortiz to come through, but not without problems. Not without problems. I mean, Velasquez ain't going away anytime soon, unless you've got that crazy fucking Manny Pacquiao peak power where you just put people to sleep and people were scared. If you ain't got that, it's a long night with Velasquez. Long night. I want to talk about this guy next. I haven't really spoken about Jake Paul on this channel. No reason, if I'm honest with you. Like, I've not done the live watch-alongs. A lot of people said, Ade, why haven't you done the live watch-alongs? Because I'm not really into it. But I'm going to give this man a ton of credit. A ton of credit. Now, I know people dislike him, right? Some like him. I will say that, though. Not everyone dislikes him. I think there is the hardcore boxing fans that dislike him and want to see him get knocked out. I credit what he's done massively. Like, I can't overstate how much I credit his rise. I think it's incredible. I really do. This guy, Jake Paul, was fighting Deji 3 years ago. Deji, KSI's little brother. That's who he was fighting 3 years ago. Was it 3? It might have been 4. I think it was 3 years ago. I think it was 2018, August. That's who he fought. He's gone from fighting Deji to fighting, I know people are going to say, oh, he's not fighting a boxer. I don't care. He's gone from fighting Deji to fighting a former UFC welterweight champion in 3 years. Do you understand that? That's mental. Like, he's gone from fighting a YouTuber who can't fight to save his life, can't fight to save his life, to fighting a UFC champion. And people might say, oh yeah, but Tyron Woodley's done. He's still a UFC fighter that's got hands. and uses these a lot in his fights. Like, Tyron Woodley isn't the kind of person that will wrestle you and take you down. Tyron Woodley wants to stand and swing with these. He's gone from fighting a YouTuber to that in 3 years. Like, if after that Deji fight, he was going to say, I'm going to fight a UFC fighter or former, still, I mean, Tyron Woodley can still fight, by the way. In 3 years, you would have put him in a straitjacket. You'd have been like, sure, okay. I just find his rise incredible. Someone tweeted, I think it was either DAZN or TalkSport, so it tweeted, who is the biggest name in American boxing right now? It's him. American boxing, so an American. So not Canelo. It's him. It's not Gervonta Davis. No, he will do bigger numbers than Gervonta Davis. It's not Errol Spence. It's not Deontay Wilder. He will do big numbers than all of them. Jake Paul. I find it incredible. I honestly, I'm kind of stuttering because I just find his rise and the way in which he's gone about it, and people might, not like the way in which he talks, and okay, fair dues, but he's got to get in there and fight. He's gone from fighting fucking, again, YouTubers to fighting that basketball player who he slept. Then Ben Askren, and I was like, this is interesting. Although I know Ben can't really fight like that. Although, again, UFC fighter, but his hands are awful. To Woodley, who actually can fight. We need to start applauding him rather than dissing him. Yes, his antics are crap, and I get that. His antics they'll piss you off. I understand that. But again, understand the rise in 3 years. I'll repeat myself. Deji. Go and watch that fight. Go and watch him versus Deji to Tyron Woodley. This man clearly has dedicated himself to boxing. More so than some boxers I know. I'm not going to mention names because I watch him fight Deji and it's awful. It's actually like, what is this? It's two men in a pub. To him now, to the point where people are like, you know what, he could knock out Woodley, That's not normal. He's gone from not being able to box to people saying he will sleep Woodley. And people are still dissing him. And he's making millions doing it. I mean, he made, and look, I find it all tacky, so I'm not even trying to applaud this. He made that Conor McGregor chain of Conor McGregor sleeping after his second fight with Dustin Poirier. He made it for 100 grand. Man's got money to burn. And his brother fought Floyd. What is going on? They are promoters extraordinaire. And I will give them the credit because what they're doing isn't easy. It's not easy to promote, to talk, to sell yourself. That ain't easy. People are like, that's easy. If it's easy, everyone would be doing it. It's not easy. And it certainly isn't easy to go from fighting YouTubers to fighting proper athletes, like genuine athletes. And then he's beaten them. Jesus Christ, man. Paulie Malignaggi, I'd fight McGregor, but only if it's a winner takes all. Next. Jermell Charlo saying that Castano fight could be the one that puts me in the Hall of Fame. This is what I'm trying to say. It's a good fight. I think I mentioned it on yesterday's video, didn't I? That don't sleep on this fight. This is going to be a good one. It really is. Again, if it all depends on what Jermell does here. This fight's dictated by Jermell. Jermell can box. Jermell's a fantastic boxer, but he also likes to trade. If Jermell boxes and kind of makes this a bit boring for fans, then he wins it. He could win it comfortably. He could be like, oh, this is a bit of one-way traffic here. If Jermell stands in the pocket and, lions in the camp, whatever he screamed. Was he scream again? Is it Lion's Den? I don't know what it is. Something lions anyway. If he stands in the pocket, then we have got a good one. Fingers crossed, he stays in the pocket. We'll see. Liam Smith, I'd fight Tim Tszyu in Australia tomorrow if deal is right. Yeah, Liam Smith will travel. I'm not really too excited about that one, if I'm honest with you. I can understand why Tim Tszyu mentioned, it was him that mentioned Liam Smith. Liam Smith's still a name, former world champion. Makes sense. And he's coming off a controversial loss. So in many people's eyes, Liam Smith won that fight. So it's not like he's coming off a loss. Like, Wheel 41. So, yeah, he's coming off a win. So, well, you know what I mean. So I can understand. Woodley on Jake Paul fight. They brought me in to take out the trash. You're welcome. Bit of a size difference here, by the way, as well. Like Jake Paul's 6'1", clearly walks around over 200 pounds. Tyron Woodley, 5'8", me? 5'8". Used to fight at 170, so basically means he walks around 190, 195. No idea what this fight's at. I have no idea. Are they going to be a cruiserweight limit? That even will be difficult for Jake Paul to make. We'll see where this fight's at. A bit here on Carlos Takam. This fight's almost gone under the radar a bit against Joe Joyce. It's going to be a good one. I mean, two bricks, basically, who will go to the centre of the ring and have it. Joe Joyce, for me, just got a bit too much now. He's coming off a good win, although it was a long time ago against Daniel Dubois. Look, this isn't the fight he wanted. He wanted to fight Usyk, but obviously Usyk, fingers crossed, is fighting Joshua. But it's a good fight, July 24th. So that's what I'm saying. It just ruins everything, because this fight was supposed to be one of those ones where you finish watching this, you maybe stay up, have a few drinks, and then you get ready for what would have been a very good card in America. Now it's just this. I've not even had a look at the undercard. Let's see if there's anything decent on the undercard. We got, okay, Chris Jenkins. This is a good fight, actually. British welterweight title fight against E.K. Essuman. I hope I pronounced his name correct. Hamza Shiraz. WBO European Super Welterweight title against Ezekiel Guria. Chris Bork against James Beach. And then it's a couple of guys that obviously just trying to get their win records up. David Adeleye. I thought David Adeleye was going to fight the guy that a lot of people thought beat him. But he's not. Charles Frankham's fighting George Vox, Mickey Burke. Okay. Decent card. Are any more bits of information before we pack up? I think that is it, human beings. So a quick look and see if Mike's talking anything on Twitter. Mike always Mr. Sources. Let's see what he's doing. Where's the time? Okay, we're okay. Just need to go to work. They're all basically just hyping. This is Mike, this is Lou DiBella, all just hyping the Castano. By the way, what's going on with Teofimo Lopez Cambosos? Like, there's been talk now, and this is it. Like, you know, you go to Triller and you're hoping there's going to be a fight, and what is going on now with Teofimo? Now they're talking about potentially Teofimo going to Australia, and Teofimo's managers come out and said that, no, we ain't going, we'd rather vacate the belt, and Cambosos can fight whoever's ranked just below for 70 grand. I have no idea what's going on, but it looks like right now that we might not get Teofimo Cambosos, which leads me to think Teofimo could go straight in with Loma. I don't know. Anyway, peace and love.